Hello, I just wanted to make this video because I'd already made a TikTok video about it, and as I'd said in that video, I'm sure people would start making videos causing trouble about the Pope's comments regarding the fact that he was asked a question about hell, and the Pope said regarding his personal opinion that he likes to think, or it was something of this nature, that he likes to think that nobody is in hell. And I explained in my TikTok that I share a similar view, that if we knew how bad hell actually is, we wouldn't wish the worst of the worst there. And I gave some examples of who people may, think perhaps a worthy, and I'm, as it were, candidate for hell may be, bearing in mind, of course, that only Christ is the judge of who's worthy of hell. But and I made some suggestions such as like Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, whoever you come up with, even the worst of the worst, you would not wish them to be in hell, or even like to think they were in hell, if we actually knew for a split second how bad hell actually is. And I'm not going to say who they are, but I came across a video on YouTube, as I expected to do, and it was a 20-minute video. Well, I think it was over 20 minutes. And they were quoting scripture to say, that how Jesus has said about how people, the road to heaven is narrow, that that kind of thing, which is all very true. And yes, the likelihood is, more than likelihood is, that yes, there are probably people in hell, but I think what the Pope was meaning is that he doesn't like to think about that, because hell is so horrific, so horrendous, that we can end up becoming despondent if we think about that too much, because it's such a horrendous place. And you wouldn't, if we knew, as I say, if we knew how bad it was, we wouldn't wish the worst of the worst there. And as I said in my TikTok, there will be people that just want to make a mountain out of a molehill and cause trouble because it's Pope Francis, and just, and then someone, I made a comment on that video, and someone replied to my comment saying, we don't want Pope Francis's personal opinion. Okay. So if someone's asked him a question, is he just supposed to give a bog standard response, a church response, as it were? Bearing in mind, the official church response would be that the church doesn't say either way whether there is or isn't anybody in hell, officially. So is that what he's supposed to have done? You tell me. Now, is everything done correctly? Probably not. I think there's been a lot of confusion. Fiducia supplicants, for example, I'm a bit mixed on that. I think I think they'd have been better not doing it. I think in and of itself it has caused confusion, which is unfortunate. But even so, the Pope gets up at 4:30 every morning. He has a lot to do. He's very busy. There's various things that need doing. It's an enormous undertaking to be the Holy Father, and I couldn't do it. And I think a lot of people that trash the Pope wouldn't be able to, do that office, do that role. So I think people just need to take a step back. Yes, it's fine to criticize people. That's fine when it's due, but I think to criticize, particularly the Holy Father, over a comment made about his own personal opinion regarding hell, and the fact that it's something to my mind that's so petty and so ridiculous. The fact that he doesn't like to think of people as being in hell, and to make a complete mountain out of a molehill just in this particular instance is so petty and so unnecessary, and so unwarranted. And there are bigger concerns in our world today than trashing the Pope for this particular instance. And I would encourage people, rather than making a 20-minute video to say, oh well, this is wrong because, or this is not right because, or perhaps spend that 20 minutes praying a rosary for the Holy Father. Spend that 20 minutes praying for the church, for the unity of the church. Just a suggestion. I'm not judging, but it's just a suggestion. And speaking of not judging, I want to share a bit of scripture myself, which is Matthew 7. Do not judge so that you may not be judged. For with the judgment you make, you will be judged. And the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you see the speck in your neighbour's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbour, let me take the speck out of your own eye? Let me take the speck out. Let's start again. I'm going to share some scripture of my own. I'd like to share some scripture, and it's Matthew 7. Do not judge, so that you may not be judged. For with the judgment you make, you will be judged, and the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you see the speck in your neighbour's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbour, let me take the speck out of your eye, while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbour's eye. And I'll finish the video with that. God bless.